Hey everyone, Sam here from Sugar Spun Run, and today I'm showing you how to make a corn chowder. This corn chowder recipe is great for making all year round, but I especially love making it using fresh, sweet summer corn. Now, to get started, this recipe is actually pretty simple, but I did want to show you a little trick I have for getting the corn off the cob. All you're going to need is your corn, a knife, and a bundt pan. What we're going to do is we're just going to set the corn on the bundt pan, and you're just going to slice as close to the cob as you can, and all of your corn is going to fall off of your cob into your bundt pan. Now, for today's recipe, you are going to need 8 ears of corn, or about 5 cups of corn. Once you've prepped your corn, you can actually set that aside. We're not going to need it just yet. What we want to do now is let's head over to our stovetop, where you're going to need a large pot. Now to this pot, we are going to add 5 strips of bacon, and I've gone ahead and cut this bacon into about bite-sized pieces. We're just going to add this into our pot. Now turn your stovetop heat to medium, and we're going to cook this bacon until it's nice and crisp. So our bacon's looking pretty good right now, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this out of the pot. We're going to set it on a plate. We're going to set this plate aside. We're going to need that bacon a little bit later on. Make sure you leave your bacon grease in the pot. And to the bacon grease, we're actually going to add 3 tablespoons of butter. Along with the butter, we're going to add 1 medium-sized yellow onion, and you want this to be chopped, 1 chopped red pepper, and 1 diced poblano pepper. We're going to cook everything, give it a nice stir occasionally until the onion is softened. This will take about 3 to 5 minutes. Once your onion and pepper are nice and softened, we're going to add some garlic. You're going to need 3 large cloves of garlic that you've minced, and this is usually about 2 tablespoons of minced garlic for me. We'll add this in with our onion. And you're going to want to stir this garlic in with the rest of your ingredients, and you're just going to cook this until it's fragrant. It's just going to be about 30 seconds of cooking your garlic. Once you can smell your garlic cooking, we are going to add 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. We're just going to sprinkle this evenly over our onions and our veggies and our garlic. And we'll use our spoon to stir this in until the flour is made a nice smooth paste and there are no clumps remaining. Now we'll want to add our chicken broth. You're going to need 4 cups of low-sodium chicken broth, 1 cup of water, and 2 cups of half and half. We will add some potatoes. You will need 1 1/4 pound of red potatoes. Now, I usually just leave the skin on. You can take that off if you want. You do want to make sure that your potatoes are cut all to be about the same size, and you want each piece to be smaller than 1 inch. We'll also add our corn that we prepped just a little bit earlier, and we'll add our spices. You're going to need a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper, and a 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Give everything a good stir, and then we're going to bring the contents of this pot to a boil. So you want to make sure you stir occasionally while you're doing this. Once your corn chowder is boiling, you're going to want to continue to cook this until your potatoes are tender when pierced with a fork. Now, one of my favorite things about this corn chowder is how creamy it is. Now, to get this nice creamy consistency, we're going to have to puree some of our soup. If you have an immersion blender, I definitely recommend using it. What I like to do is take my immersion blender and puree the soup until about half of it is nice and creamy. You're only going to be pureeing about half of the contents of the soup. You don't want to puree all of it. If you don't have an immersion blender, what you can do is you can ladle out about 3 cups of the soup into a blender, and you can puree it in the blender and then return that to your soup. Now, once you've pureed your soup, what we want to do is we want to grab that bacon that we cooked earlier, and we're going to add this back into our pot. Now give everything a good stir, and we're just going to let this soup simmer for about 15 minutes, and then it's ready to enjoy. So this is still pretty hot, but I'm going to pour myself a bowl, and we're going to give it a try. Hopefully I don't burn myself, but I can't wait any longer. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let's get a potato in there. Okay, so it is still hot, but this is so good. You have that sweet taste of the summer corn. You have that smoky, savory bacon flavor. You've got your tender potatoes. Guys, this soup is loaded with flavor. It is so good. I think you're going to love it. If you guys try this one out, please let me know what you think. I can't wait to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hey, if you guys enjoyed today's summer corn chowder recipe, I would really appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also, if you enjoyed today's recipe, here are a few others you might like as well.